Where's that masks table again?
Yeah. Thank you.
Are you filming properties?
Yes.
Come down there, look how busy it is. Come down there. Let's walk down there. It's busy. So you can make sure you're filming.
To be honest, it's been. Yeah, I think it's just.
Film.
Yeah, she is actually. Oh, here we go. We're going to go see her fancy. Okay. I'm so embarrassed.
Walk from stairs.
Wait a minute.
Like wobbling about.
It's a very hard mission.
Do a sweep across the slopes. There's a roof down there. You need to get people out of the streets as well. You know what I mean?
I want to film that, you know, the room with the masks.
The room with the masks. The room with the masks? Oh, the guy, the special effects maker.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but you should probably... You should ask him how he got into it. Ask for some kind of advice. I think you should. He won't pull a dirty face at me. You could even ask him about that corpse. See what he thinks about that corpse. I really think you should. I really think you should. I won't stand there and pressure you. Maybe film the coffins. Just briefly, because it's lovely for some.
So gentle. I'm so sorry. In the character, she was like, has she ever lost? No, she was a stripper in the film, which is similar, but she was a stripper, but she'd had loads of plastic surgery, so she was a bit like a kind of Betty Boop, but really freaky looking. And it was about plastic surgery, and it was a really good film. I was like, actually, this is a good film. It's hard to decide. Other stuff, you know, like, because I watched that in Netflix. And that was really good. Didn't feel like we were watching it live. It was a lot better, so I paid attention. And that was really good. But if this, I was sure
I would like how close the front top and how they sold out pretty quickly and then the side of we did the personalised editions so now they're just in like the normal size. We put 4 discs.
Paul was very method, which meant that he got on set and became Franklin. he would get into makeup and wardrobe, and then he'd sit in the wheelchair, and he wouldn't get out of the chair for the rest of the time. And he did it, he said, because he was afraid, he told me later, that he was afraid of losing the character, of not being able to become Franklin when the director said action. Well, what it meant was people hated it, because they never knew that. They just thought the director had hired this weaselly, kind of whining character. They never knew that he was a different person from what he presented. Well, I couldn't, there's no way for me to become Leatherface. One is I don't think it's a good way to act, but also you can't sustain it for 6 weeks, day and night, without becoming insane. I had this thing now that was this tool, and that was, I was always myself inside. And I always just stood around like myself, but when the director said action, I changed my posture. And it changed my posture into Leatherface. And it became a little tick that I could use to become the character. And it worked really well for me. So I never had that struggle of getting Leatherface onto the screen. It was always get the body into a certain position, and so boom, I was Leatherface. But and it allowed me to always remain myself inside. I was always watching what I was doing on the outside, monitoring that and modifying that. And that separation was the only reason I didn't go insane making this film.
There was a story about Christopher Lee, who, as you know, has recently passed away. When he was doing the very first Frankenstein for Hammer, that he was heavily covered in prosthetics. Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing used to tell the story that he first met Christopher Lee in makeup, and when he took it off, he screamed. Now, I wonder whether you wandered around in the gear, or whether you were able to take it off between shots and just become you again.
Well, they had a rule on set, which was I couldn't take first of all, I couldn't take the mask off, the makeup had to take it off. And the rule was that I couldn't take it off unless the break was more than 5 minutes. And when you're filming, every break is 5 minutes, even if it takes an hour. So the director would go, okay, everybody, 5 minutes, be ready. And then an hour later, they're still setting up. And I would go to the makeup woman and say, would you take the mask off? And she'd say, no, it's a 5 minute. So when I could, the mask was off. But there were times where I just had to wear the mask. The problem became for me that there were a lot of method actors on this film, and then there was one method director who really thought, that's why he asked me if I was crazy, like that was going to help me play a crazy man. I found out, he came to me and said, before the first filming, now the actors who are playing the victims,
Frankenstein, and I don't know, stupid stuff. But, I used to love watching stuff like, as Gunnar was talking about, The Crawling Eye, and for me, there's also a movie called The Beginning of the End. I liked the atomic movies where there were giant grasshoppers or giant praying mantises or whatever it was. That was scary. So, yeah, pretty much my whole life.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So, you grew up loving horror. You didn't go straight into acting. You were writing for a while, weren't you? And writing for a psychology journal, is that right?
I did. I worked for a magazine in New York called Psychology Today after I was out of college, and I worked for a lot of magazines. I never really thought, I come from the Midwest in Illinois. My parents were Republicans, and they were. My dad worked for a company that made tank cars and railway cars, so we were kind of fruit of the earth, or salt of the earth type people.